you're not sure which one is real? I've been thinking about this. People have been thinking about this for thousands of years. There's always been this sense of a physical world and a non-physical world. Philosophers called that non-physical world the metaphysical world, from the Greek meta, meaning beyond, and physical, meaning nature. So beyond nature, or the supernatural. People have had lots of theories and explanations about which world is more real. For some people, this physical world is an illusion. Nothing's actually real. There's nothing solid or substantial in this physical world. It's all Maya or illusion. And for these people, everything comes out of consciousness. Consciousness creates everything. For other people, that's all hogwash. This is the only real world. What we can see and touch and taste, and consciousness is just a byproduct of electrical activity in our brain. That's it. Well, I have my own thoughts about this based on my experience. I have been thinking about a creative world and a performative world. This makes sense to me, and I'll explain what I mean and then how I think the two worlds can meld and work together. I'll start with the idea of a performative world. Now, regardless of whether or not you think this physical world is real, our bodies, the ground, the air, the trees, everything we touch and taste and smell and hear, whether you might think that's all an illusion, but when it comes down to it, in order to act, in order to perform, or in order to do anything, we have to assume that this world is real. That's how we engage with each other. We know there's gravity. We can't fly off of buildings. We know that we need to eat to feed ourselves. We know that we need to listen to people in order to have conversations and talk. Like, it's all based on our senses. So, for all intents and purposes, common sense, right, tells us that this physical world is real. It's beautiful. It's absolutely as real as you need anything to be. There's just more to learn and discover and taste and touch, and we enjoy being in this physical world, growing plants and looking at the stars and having pets that we stroke, cuddle. But what about the other world? This world is very interesting too. I call this the creative world. The inner world, the world of thoughts, feelings, dreams, ideas. This world is very subjective. It's my own world. It's very intimate. And how I feel about things, I think really affects the outer world. There's many times where I felt more real inside of myself, that my inner world felt more real to me than what was happening externally. Maybe there was more sense of being involved or paying more attention. Our dreams, for example, when we're in our dreams, there's nobody else in our dreams with us. It's our dream world, and we interact with all kinds of people and do all kinds of things. And all those laws of the physical world don't apply at all. Some people have do lucid dreaming, and they have out of body experiences. And the dream world, when you think about it, actually feels really real. I'm sure you've had dreams where you actually felt like you were awake inside that it was just as real as being awake. Why I'm thinking of the one world as the creative and the other world as the performative, because to me it makes sense that we are in both worlds, and that we have a kind of consciousness in both worlds, and the one feeds into the other. So the world of ideas and thoughts and imaginations and dreams, that inner world, is actually what creates our experience in the outer world. Now, for example, when I'm sometimes at a meeting or on a phone call or just even listening to something and I want to focus, I'll doodle. Right? And my doodling with whatever pen I'm using has always been very satisfying for me. I feel like it's my artistic expression. Lots of beautiful curves and shades and tones and a cover up. I've been doing this since I was a child, filling up the sides of my in my notebooks, just doodling. And now it's almost become my artistic practice. And I was doing this the other day in a meeting, and my friend said, "Oh, are you distracted?" And I said, "Well, actually, this doodling, this pen helps me to focus on what I'm really feeling, on what I'm really thinking about something. It keeps me sort of in myself." So this is an example of where this kind of creative imagination that I have is connecting with my pen on the paper there in the physical world. And it's actually connecting those two senses of myself, the part of me that's actively engaged in the conversation, and the part of me that's sort of observing and noticing how I'm feeling. And Laurel, do you really want to do this? And the act of doodling kind of brings them both together. Now, I think this is very useful. This is how one way of bringing those two worlds together, blending them. And I think there are others too. I like to pay attention to my dreams and remember how am I feeling when I'm in my dream. And often there's a sense of things that would really bother me in real life don't bother me so much in my dreams. And it's as though there are these various scenarios I've been given to act out and see what the results are. And I enjoy this sort of playful aspect to my being, that I have this inner being in this inner world, in this creative world, that's really creating all these scenarios for me, creating all these options, and giving me some guidance of how to deal with situations in my outer world. And this awareness of the two consciousness blending, that both worlds are real and the one feeds into the other, and both are, completely enjoyable and valid. This is one way of understanding reality, one way of making sense of, our experience here. There are many others, and I know that we can keep on, that creating and having a sense of control in our world, in our external world, based on that feeling of control in our inner world. It just once you felt it, it feels really so solid and such a firm foundation. That is my understanding at this point, and I'm looking forward to sharing more with you and hearing your comments.